I retract.
Good.
Johnny, are you 35?
Not yet. Got a few more months.
Okay, close enough, right?
35 or 6 to 4?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to throw out a number.
Ask? Yeah.
And I'm going to need you to tell me if you feel if you think this would be a low number or a high number for something that you do.
Okay.
166,075.
You're not going to tell us the context, though? We just have to guess
will.
if that's a high number or a low number.
If that's a high number or a low number for something that Johnny does.
I mean, is it farts in a lifetime? Because that seems low.
It's definitely
so
way higher than that.
I went with the low. It says on average the human body farts 13 to 21 times a day.
Holy shit, I got it right.
And
Nice.
Damn, I was
doing some quick math.
I'm sorry that I stole the thunder of your bit, Bobby.
Chase.
That was a
Well, it's not hard. We're talking about Johnny. He's a piece of shit. So why wouldn't it be farts?
Like a fart, it came directly out of my ass.
So Johnny, if you had to guess, would you say that 166,075 is a low or a high number for how many farts you've let out in your lifetime?
Low. Absolutely low. There was the time when I was in middle school, I think, that I ate some Pop Rocks and I washed it down with a warm Coke.
God.
On like a dare. And
that's a dare. Why would that be a dare? That just sounds like a
me and my friend Richard were really bored, and they had joked about it on a TV show.
Sandwich.
And so I was like,
cheese sandwich.
Fuck it, I'll do it. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that, like, I had to sleep on my stomach that night because my ass hurt so bad from farting.
God,
it was terrible. And it's like it was just wind. Like there's no smell. Like my body was just trying to.
Sure, your shit doesn't stink. We know.
Yeah, no.
I had a friend who did
terrible.
Whose brother tricked him to do the Kool-Aid challenge, which was just to eat a giant spoonful of the straight powder, no water to dilute it. And I guess it's similar to the cinnamon challenge. Yeah. But he threw up so much he broke all the blood vessels in his face and eyes.
No.
So I imagine that's what Pop Rocks and Coke were for your ass, like just on the opposite side of your body.
I feel really bad right now, Chase. I didn't realize this. So as a kid, trying to be a little entrepreneur, I didn't want to do a lemonade stand.
Sure.
I got plastic straws and a stapler, and I decided I was going to make my own homemade pixie sticks to sell on the corner.
Nice. Oh boy. Sure.
And all I did was just fill them up with either Tang or Kool-Aid.
That's probably fine though, because like if it's in a straw, like you're not gonna like be able to shotgun the whole thing. Like this was.
This explains a lot of the facial reactions I got when people open it up to eat it.
Yeah, but this guy like had large spoon, like not even like, oh, this is the big spoon I use for cereal. It was like, this is like the big serving spoon that we have, and he like took it all in. That's too much surface area of sugar.
There's no sugar at all, and you have to add the sugar to it. Like it's just
right. Yeah, not sugar.
Chemicals.
Right.
Well, speaking of needing sugar, we could use a little sweetening up here at the Casual Hour. I'm Bobby.
Oh yeah.
Chase and Johnny, how are you two doing?
Doing all right.
Good.
This is a deep dive episode, guys.
Yes, it is. It is episode 316 of the Casual Hour. We have a deep dive that our very own Johnny has decided to put together for us. We're going to talk about quite a bit tonight. Before that, though, we've got an update on Pokemon Conquest, or actually a breakdown of Pokemon Conquest. We're going to talk about Rhythm Storm, Terraformers, War Tales, Octopath Traveler 2, Dead Space, and others. And then, Johnny, do you want to tease what your deep dive is for the back half of the show?
I'm going to double down and
it's already been we put it in the tweet. People know.
We did. Yeah. We're going to be talking about various video game tie-ins and promos with fast food, cereals, and a special surprise at the end.
Okay.
That I found out about like an hour before we started recording.
All right.
And it's
very well researched.
It's one of
Nice.
the weirdest things I've ever seen or read about, because I couldn't find any screenshots or anything of it. So,
well, before we get too much further in the episode, is our audio coming through okay for everybody? It looks like it is on my end.
yeah, I
Cool.
could hear us all. On
Chase,
the stream, so we're good.
Yeah.
What in the world is Pokemon Conquest?
Pokemon Conquest is a turn-based strategy game for the Nintendo DS, featuring the characters of acclaimed Koei video game Nobunaga's Ambition and
Checks out.
and Pokemon. It's basically a Fire Emblem meets Pokemon. There are other
Sounds pretty
people.
cool.
Yeah, there are other people who have like ROM hacked Pokemon meets Fire Emblem in a more direct way. But in this one, you control a warlord, and everybody's got their different castles, and you kind of risk it a little bit on like the game risk on this big map of Arceus. Like the map is of Arceus, but it's broken up into lots of little parts. And you attack them with your Pokemon, and each Pokemon has a different style of attack. So some attacks are like a tackle that Pokemon might have, just hits somebody directly in front of them. Whereas like Charmander has Ember, and Ember is a indirect attack. It's a 2 space away attack, so you can get a little range on that. And then there are some Pokemon that have some completely broken moves, like Pansear, the little fire monkey from what is that? Black and White? Yeah, that'd be Black and White.
Yes.
He's got an attack that is also just a fire attack, but it hits in an X pattern in front, so it can hit a ton of Pokemon at the same time.
That reminds me of Ignited Steel. Do you remember that game that we played? It was kind of like a cell shaded, really pixely. It was kind of like a wannabe Into the Breach, but had like different mechs.
Okay.
And it was the one that like you could overheat, but they had
I'm remembering now.
really obscure patterns. Like some looked like a cross, some were an X, and it was a grid based game. So it sounds similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And each castle you go to has a different gimmick to it. So there's, you go to the water castle, and they've got a bunch of water everywhere that water Pokemon can freely walk right through, or flying Pokemon can fly right over, but everything else has to walk around it in some way. Or there's like a steel one that you have to stand on these cogs to make the cog turn to open some doors and close other doors. And so you get a little extra puzzle in there sometimes when you're doing your fights. So you can recruit new warlords to your side, and they come with their own Pokemon. You can also go in and fight wild battles and find new Pokemon that you can make your partner instead. So each person only gets one Pokemon, but you can switch out that Pokemon at some points. And some of the warlords have specific Pokemon they link with really well, or have the potential to link with really well, so they can get even stronger versions. Pokemon
Are
still
you playing
evolve.
as Ash, did you say?
No. You're playing as like a Japanese warlord.
Okay.
You can be a boy or a girl, and then you've got it's kind of a quote unquote spoiler in the game, but it's also just fucking history. So it's hard to say it's a spoiler here.
Sure.
But you team with Oichi, who surprise is Nobunaga's sister. I mean, that's just how the family worked out. So so when he comes in, he's like, "Oh, what is my sister doing here?" And we're like, "What? You're his sister?" She's like, "Yeah, haven't you read a fucking book?" But it's cool. Like the Pokemon still evolve, so your Charmander, and sometimes you'll want to strategically evolve or not evolve them. So like the Charmander that has the ranged attack, when you evolve it into Charmeleon, that attack is now Fire Fang, and it hits directly in front. So if you wanted something with range, you might want to keep that Charmander for a little bit. You start out with an Eevee, which means that eventually you can kind of pick whichever Eevee you want. I think Jolteon is the easy pick. You can it's only the first. Is it just the first 5? I I don't know if you can get Glaceon and Leafeon, but you can get the Jolteon, Flareon, Vaporeon, and then Espeon and Umbreon. I know those for sure. I went with Jolteon. Jolteon has like a ranged attack that is also AoE and can also paralyze Pokemon. It's still, the game does have some status effects. I think it's really, really cool. It's got some level design that sometimes is a little too gimmick heavy, especially that steel one where you're jumping on those cogs. It's like, man, I'd really just, I mean, I don't want Super Robot Wars where it's just flat chessboards everywhere, but also this is maybe too much in the other direction. There are too many bottlenecks and different things that just feel like they slow down the maps, and are just like, I just want to fight the fucking Pokemon. Let me do that. And they get in the way a little bit. But I think the way you get new Warlords, the way you get new Pokemon, the way you develop those links is really, really cool. And once you finish conquering all the places, then you can fight Nobunaga. He's got a Zekrom, the big electric dragon from Black and White. And once you beat him, then everything's hunky dory. Except then, so that takes you maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 hours. All of which I did in a weekend because I watched a YouTube video about this and went, oh yeah, I have that game. I'd like to play that again. And then just got sucked into it.
Fair. So
once I finished that, I was like, okay, well, that's good. And then I realized, oh, wait, there's actually way more game here. It opens up a ton of scenarios with each individual warlord from history. So now it's, here's this tiny little campaign where there's only 4 castles and you have to do that one now, but you have a much more limited team and can only access a much more limited pool of people in Pokemon to recruit. So there are all these little interesting challenges at different difficulty levels. Those are going to take forever to do. And I think once you do those, there's another secondary true ending campaign that you go on as well. That game is ridiculously big. I think I might have gotten what I needed to get out of it at this point. I started doing some of the smaller scenarios, and some of them just kind of bone you immediately with
that's like
having nothing that you can do. Yeah, it's like, the other teams that are around me, they have maybe not 6 Pokemon each yet, but they've got more Pokemon than I have. I only start out with 2. Both of mine are normal type. Both of them kind of suck. And so I can't attack their castles. I guess I can try to grind for more people or more Pokemon, but also all the people in Pokemon here also kind of suck, but they're also stronger than me. So I also can't gain any new followers. And then it just kind of is like, oh, well, we're going to start attacking you now because you haven't done anything. And this is a chess game where we want to take over. And then you just get fucked, and then you restart it again and hope you get better luck, but you don't because it sucks.
Damn it.
So I found 2 things while we were talking about this. I saw a YouTube video that someone said they spent 140 hours playing this game.
That's the video I watched.
Yes, the true ending. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's also a ROM hack for this that came out last August.
There's a ROM hack for this? What's it called?
Pokemon Conquest Twin Dragons.
Okay, that is
this time.
There is. So the one I
dragons.
thought you were going to say is Poke Emblem, which is like a different ROM hack that is like a GBA one that is a ROM hack of like Emerald or whatever, and it is literally taking Pokemon and putting them into like a Fire Emblem context. But that's cool. I'll probably have to check that out and see if that DS ROM hack is something I want to play.
30 new moves, new backgrounds.
Neat.
So yeah,
that's fun. I think that game is really cool. It's also, if you're thinking of playing it yourself, also like really expensive to find. I guess they didn't make a ton of copies of it. I was super into Pokemon, so I had to have it, obviously. When it came out originally,
a thing that they should definitely like reboot at some point, or
I would love that. Put in the Dynasty Warriors instead of the Nobunaga's Ambition people. I want to see. I
want Lubu.
I want to know what Pokemon Lubu would have. Like the
Lubu and her Wabafoo. It's very easy.
I was gonna say Mudsdale because that's also a horse, and like he'd have
Lubu
the red
and a
hair one,
Wabafoo.
It's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, I feel like I need to do a
Luba
YouTube
food.
video that like some horrible clickbaity stuff of like what Pokemon would each character in Dynasty Warriors
I can see the
have, and
YouTube
just
thumbnail
line 'em all
already.
down. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, who would Liu Bei have? I wonder. Anyway, that's mostly what I've been playing. I started playing a little bit of Opus. I don't know if I talked about that last week. I think it's cool. I don't think I'm in the headspace right now to play a visual novel. I want to though. I want to get back in. That's something I'm hopefully going to do before the end of the month. The other problem is that it's March Madness time, so I just want to watch a bunch of basketball and
Mad
fuck
lads.
video games right now. So also baseball's about to start. I don't know. It's an exciting time for things that are not video games. And then I'm also playing the game that shall not be named anymore. So I'm not going to do that here.
Fair.
But yeah, I'll get back to Opus. If I don't finish it this month, I will definitely finish it next month, even if I also spin the wheel and have another game to play. But that's basically all I've been doing.
Cool, man. Well, that was an update on Pokemon Conquest from Chase. Boys, I have got 3 brand new games to talk about this week.
Hit me.
Rhythm Storm, a game that maybe you've already heard of from us. We put a quick look up of this game on Tuesday. Boys, they put Geometry Wars in your Vampire Survivors, and it fucking rules.
What I saw, yeah. So I don't.
really cool.
I haven't watched. I mean, I haven't listened to a Nextlander podcast for months. But for whatever reason, I was finishing up a model kit, and I was like, "Oh, I need another podcast to listen to. Let's throw on Nextlander," and they were talking about it on that, and every word they said made me more excited than the last.
Dude,
so Bobby, as somebody who's played it, how is it? I was not a part of that quick look. I kind of wish I was, but
yeah, man, I really like it. This game is hitting all the right buttons for me. It's going to have very much the same architecture as Vampire Survivors. You can get unlocks in the game from new ships that you'll be bringing into it. You can get permanent upgrades. There are 2 upgrades per level up that you get. And you also have a super ability, like an ultimate, that you are persistently charging up in the game. And it's very good how they do it. I have completed the demo 3 times now. And I have 1 more ship that I can unlock in the demo. So they've got 4 that are available.
Is that how they're classifying it, as a demo, not that it's in early access
this
or something?
Is a demo.
Okay.
They say it will be out Q4 of 23, which I can easily see it slipping. I think especially if there's starting to be a lot of buzz around it. But I've played it both on my Steam Deck and I've played it on my computer. It's gorgeous. It looks so good. The music is phenomenal. All the enemies are moving at the beat of the game. And so it's like Vampire Survivors, Geometry Wars, and maybe like a little hi-fi or cadence and how the environment looks.
Yeah, but it's not like you have to stay in rhythm. It's not like Hi-Fi Rush in that instance where I need to constantly be hitting things on beat. You're just playing a game that has rhythm around you, which I think sounds great. As a person who sucks at the rhythm part of these games, that sounds
particle effects, man.
It is made by Radiant Games. They've made another game. What was it called? It starts with a D.
Devastator.
They made that game, which is very much like a Geometry Wars.
I thought that was just you guessing something, Johnny, which I was going to be like, damn, good guess. I was going to say Darwin's game.
No. But it's a demo that's available on PC only. I can't say like enough about it. Like, run and play it if you have the means to do so. It's very fucking cool. It is my absolute favorite one of those games that I've played. So very neat. Very, 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 very good. Next up is a game called Terraformers, and I will tell you right now, I love this game. I've had my eye on it for a while and finally pulled the trigger. This is it's very reminiscent of what we did with Terra Nil. So you start with Mars and you're basically...
The name already is pretty close. You're
trying to make Mars look like Earth with oceans, greenery. Here's a couple things that set this one apart. It's a turn-based in a way, so it's not quite like a 4X strategy game, but it's a turn-based game where you get to pick basically like a leader at the beginning of it, and they each have 3 unique abilities, but the game works off of terms. So you don't get to keep the same leader throughout your run. You have to elect multiple different ones, and they give you like 3 options each time. And you are collecting cards at the beginning of each turn. And those cards are buildings that you can bring into your town or build as an exterior item. You are collecting water, power, and other elements to use in the game, and you can have an import and an export kind of mini game going alongside this. So cards each cost a currency or what you would have. So you're needing
You're
to...
an importer exporter is what you're saying.
Yes.
What do you import?
It depends. Like
Diapers?
no, like they've brought in
What do you
bacteria from
export?
Earth.
Chips?
I've exported.
Latex.
I'm sorry. I'm doing an extended Seinfeld bit here, and you're not helping me.
You want to be my latex salesman?
It's a different episode, Johnny.
Yeah, I
Get
know.
out of your element.
So you can move all over Mars, and it is set up on a not necessarily a grid, but there's a lot of nodes, and each node is a different type of terrain. So one could be a vacant volcano, one could be a rocky like terrain, but you can build multiple cities, and then you can click into the city, and that's where you're going to be building your power grids. You're going to be building your vegetation. That all feels like a sim
Didn't you just
city.
play one of these that like another one where you go into the buildings and stuff and you
He never
This
gets
is-
tired of
like
this.
This
you
is it's
micromanage
different.
the you build in your build.
That's more of like an optimize, like not necessarily an optimization. It's a
Yeah,
you're built.
a
It's like a factory game. This is a city builder. Like it's very generic when you go into it.
Would this be closer to like was it SimCity 4 or was it the new SimCity or whatever they did where you could have multiple cities
I don't
built by different
recall.
players? It was the one that killed SimCity.
This one is
SimCity 2012.
Yeah.
I think.
they do some
Or
cool
2010.
things too. Like you'll get different cards that also can play with other cards. So let's say you build a population center. There might be another card you get that says if this is built adjacent to a population center, we'll add in an additional 2 population growth per turn. And there's really cool synergies that you can do with it. I love this game. I've been playing so much of it. It's very cool. It's a Johnny game for sure. You don't need a distraction right now, I know, but it's definitely worth checking out.
I really don't.
Well, you know how much we hate card games here at the Casual Hour, Bobby.
Yeah.
So
I
I
know.
don't know if that's going to
Can't
work out
stand
for
'em.
us.
This came out on March 9th. I think it had been in early access. It hit 1.0 on March 9th. Asteroid Labs is the developer, and it was published by Gobbins Publishing. It's great. It's got a cool soundtrack to it. I think the voice acting, I think there's a little voice acting from member, but just the whole tone and vibe to it is very well done. And that is on PC only, I believe, right now.
I'm downloading it, Bobby. Okay.
All right, good. I hope you're happy. I'm certainly happy. And then if that wasn't enough to get Johnny excited, I have another game to talk to you all about called War Tales. This is one that is in early access, but is getting ready to hit 1.0. It's been on my wish list for a long time, and I saw that it was going to be hitting 1.0. I decided maybe the price might go up. I'll go ahead and grab it now. War Tales is
TAILS or TALES?
TALES.
Okay.
This is being
Stories
made
about
by
the war.
Shiro Games. This is a CRPG meets a turn-based strategy game, and it is also medieval, which I think I'm saying all the right words for Johnny right now. You get to go in. It's also co-op, Johnny. I'm going to throw that out there too.
Now, can Johnny's computer run it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
nobody does.
I don't know. This thing's a piece of shit.
So you start off by building a crew of people that have the traditional ability. So you're going to have a rogue. I've got an archer, archer, a rogue. No, sorry, that is the rogue. Archer. I've got a swordsmith, which is Chase. Johnny, you're the rogue.
Fair.
I am a hammer wielding barbarian. Sarah is the archer, and our donkey is named Obi. And there's a whole overworld that you're going through where you're collecting resources. There is a little survivability. Like at camp, you want to make sure that you can feed your party. You can recruit new people into your party, and you'll interact with people who are going to be traveling salesmen. They're going to be people that you can pick up side quests from. There's a lot of politics on this that had forced people to become refugees, and certain people who feel refugees are dirty and have no place to be in their communities. And you have to figure out where you want to side, because there's shades of gray, you know, like the refugees are stealing from the farmers to survive, which makes sense. But it's also like they're operating in a morally opaque way where you have to make a decision on like, what do you justify their actions? So there's a lot of cool stuff that comes from that.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
I'm not going to play it, so I will never know. But
the turn-based stuff is really fun too. A lot of the abilities you can upgrade on it. There's terrain things like if you step into mud, it can slow you down. You can surround enemies and get bonuses. It seems pretty like by its default settings, it wants you to have like one save state per game, like very much permadeath, all those things.
Yeah, they want you to live with your choices.
Yeah, big time. Okay. I've played it more on an easy setting.
Okay. Have you gotten through a run?
It's not a run-based game.
But do you have like, can you just keep playing forever, or is there like,
I mean, is it like a Civ where you finish?
Are there victory conditions? Yeah.
Oh, I think this is more of like an RPG. It's just like a story that you're going through.
Oh, okay.
Like there's an absolute story that's at play with this, and you're playing it out. So, I think it's really cool. It scratches a lot of the itches that I would want from one of these. The writing seems to be pretty good. It's at a very positive. I mean, it's been in early access since 2021. It's got over 9,000 very positive reviews on Steam. It's just neat, man. Like when you go into these towns,
9,001.
Hell yeah. So War Tales, I think Chase would dig it. I think you would dig it, and I am looking to spend more time with it. When it hits 1.0, we'll probably maybe stream it a little bit when it comes out. Do a quick look for it, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's been in early access since the end of 2021. So.
Yep. So that's it for me. I talked about a few new things. We talked about Rhythm Storm, which will be coming out this year. We talked about Terraformers, which just hit 1.0, and we talked about an upcoming 1.0 release for War Tales. All very cool games, PC only, if you have the means to check them out. Johnny.
All right. Yeah.
What do you got going on?
I have been playing the same games I was playing last week. Playing more Octopath Traveler 2. That's the game I've been spending the most time with.
Are you guys just going to torture me by talking about this every week?
I've got, I think, 4 characters now.
I am in with my 7th right now. I just started the 7th guy's chapter 1.
Have you got the hunter yet?
Did you do the thief?
Yes, I did. I did the thief. I'm not sure why you had the problems you did, Chase.
I don't either.
I beelined it for the thief like as quick as I could, just because I wanted to see. Yeah. And I think she's pretty cool.
And she's a cool character.
Did you have a hard time with the boss, Johnny?
Yeah.
No more so than I did with any of the other bosses, because as you go through each chapter, it culminates with a boss fight, and you are usually by yourself unless your character has a skill where they can recruit someone else to come and fight with them. I think so far, the hunter, the thief, Throne, and Onette, she's like a cleric.
She dancer.
She's not a cleric. No, not the dancer. There's one that I can't remember what her job is. Anyway, she can like mix herbs and stuff that will have positive effects on your party, or a single person in your party, or negative effects on the enemies. And she wields an axe. And the
hunter's so good, man.
Yeah, she's great because you can capture beasts that you fight.
Oh yeah.
And turn them into jerky.
Did you get the king iguana?
Yes. Yes, I did.
It's so dumb and big. It's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. And I for a game that was not on my radar at all, like when I was not planning on picking up, and just kind of on a whim after Chase talked about it. I was like, oh, I'll check the demo out and see if I can have better luck.
Yes, I was very encouraging that people should try this game out. I understand. It's my fault that you're playing it.
It is. And I'm about 13 hours into it now, and I just keep liking it more and more as I've got new skills for my characters. I really, really love the combat system, and it's great. Like I love the way it looks. It looks fantastic on my PC. It's going to be one of my favorite things that I play this year, which just makes me even more sad for Chase. And before Resident Evil 4 comes out next week, the remake, I told myself I was going to finish Dead Space, and I am getting relatively close to the end of that game. I got to chapter 9 tonight out of 12, and
seems close.
Yeah, I think I probably got like 3 more hours left, and it continues to be my favorite thing I played this year. I just can't get over how good the atmosphere and everything, like the presentation, is just so good.
It's very cool.
I encountered a new enemy type tonight that is very dumb, and I need you to get to that point, Bobby, because I want to be able to talk to you about it.
I think I'm just past beating the Leviathan.
Okay. So I think the point I'm at now, it feels like things are really escalating towards the ultimate conclusion.
Okay.
And obviously we know Isaac makes it out alive because he's in the next 2 games. So I'm just waiting to see how they make it off of the Ishimura, or how many people besides Isaac make it off of the Ishimura. And I love that game. Nothing new for me this week.
So that's Octopath Traveler 2 and Dead Space. Yep. Sounds like maybe 2 of the best things you've played this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Crazy.
And I played a little bit of Hi-Fi Rush the other day too in that game. Absolute rules.
Game's very good. All right, Johnny, is it time for you to deep dive?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Bobby, I'm going to ask you to run the slideshow for me.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
So tonight, so the thing that inspired this, we'll get to in one of our slides here.
Are we going to need to move our faces because they're kind of covering up all the time?
That's what's going to be the way it is, man.
All right. So Bobby, would you go to the next slide, please?
Yep.
So there have been a lot of cross-promotional video game tie-ins and marketing things over the years. Let's talk about some of them. Bobby, would you please move to the next slide? This is a little bit, well, we were all alive whenever this was out, but I never got to enjoy the Nintendo cereal system, which
out of my time.
Have you heard of this?
I had the Mario Brothers cereal.
Okay. So this was a little bit different because it came with 2 bags in the box, one for each game. It had the Super Mario Action Series, which was fruity flavors. It had Mario's, Mushrooms, Goombas, Koopa Troopas, and Bowser's.
They should have just called it Mario's.
They should have. Well, no, this is the cereal system. It has 2 different cereals inside of it.
No, I get it. But they should have just called it Mario's.
And the other side had the Zelda Adventure Series, which had berry-flavored links, hearts, keys, boomerangs, and shields. And I actually, if you go to the next slide, Bobby, I pulled a commercial for this. Anywhere I could find a commercial for the thing I was talking about, you bet your ass I was going to link to it. And I don't know if we can hear the audio in that or not.
I mean, it's probably better that we don't. I don't know, for like Twitch purposes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that looks like a Bowser to me. That semi-dinosaur shaped marshmallow. Absolutely, that was.
It was such a weird time for games and advertising. Like I feel like we don't get stuff like this anymore. Because they were still just trying to figure out what worked.
I have a Pokemon branded cereal box in my house right now.
Okay, fine. But we're not getting Mario cereal.
I give it
next
time.
Slide,
There's
Bobby?
a movie just about to come out. I I would not be shocked at all if they're like, oh, fuck it, Captain Crunch now has mushrooms in it for 2 months or whatever.
One can only hope. Next is a game I'd never heard of, called Taco Bell's Tasty Temple Challenge for MS
Yeah, I don't
DOS.
think
Came
I've
out
heard
in
of this
2000, which it's weird that it was a DOS game when Windows
Yeah.
95 had been out for 5 years.
Well, also Windows 98 would have been prominent at this point in time
Yeah,
for a lot of folks.
Windows Me Millennium,
Mhm.
which is what we had on our compact Presario back in the day. And it was an adventure game. It was distributed with kids' meals at Taco Bell. You defend yourself against snakes and scorpions using sachets of hot and wild sauce,
Sure.
as well as consuming Taco Bell menu items to regain health.
God.
And there's a commercial.
You know what? There should be a Taco Bell like survival crafting game where you have to like find beef, cheese, and lettuce, and then you get to the crafting table, and you can actually just craft everything because all of those things are in.
Is this just
menu
Doom?
It kind of looks like Doom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When did you say this came out? Like
2000.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this is definitely post Doom. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's a more famous Doom ripoff, but this, you wild sauce that snake into dust.
You sure did.
Cool. A crowbar.
Bobby, if you go to the next slide.
Oh, it's a Half-Life. I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it is. It's a Half-Life mod, actually.
Oh, baby.
This one.
Oh,
Sneak
baby.
King. Who remembers Sneak King?
I
Sure.
do.
I have never played Sneak King.
Me neither.
Oh, man.
What were the other two? Pocket Bikes and
Pocket Bike Racer and Big Bumpin' are the other two.
What's
So-
Big Bumpin'? I can't remember any.
All
of
right.
It's a
Big
bumper
Bumpin'.
car game.
Well,
I had to get this game because I had the Burger King costume. And I like would show up at party. Like I remember driving to what was my college from Centralia. It was 40 minutes away. I walked into Burger King dressed up as the king. I just had written on a piece of paper 10 Whoppers, and they gave me the Whoppers for free. And I drove to the party, and I was like out in the front yard hiding behind trees and like running across the yard and doing the whole bit. And I walk in and I was dressed up as the king handing out cold burgers to people. So when this game came out, like everybody at college, they just like, we have to play Sneak King. And like I wore the mask while I was playing it.
Yeah.
Oh
You played Sneak King for real.
I played Sneak King for real.
Handing out cold cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Cold burgers on a plate.
My roommate would get incredibly motion sick watching me play video games. And the Pocket Bike Racer made him ill. Love you, Kyle. You're the best.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fantastic. You can get this for $4 at Burger King restaurants.
This was a big deal when this came
Oh,
out.
huge.
Yeah.
I remember all the magazines
and the commercials and everything.
Yeah, like all the video game outlets were talking about. There's 3 games. You can get it for like $12 total if you just want all 3 of them, and it's amazing. And like, I mean, sure, Pocket Bikes they said was like a halfway decent racer. I don't remember anybody saying anything about Big Bumpin', but Sneak King seemed to be like a legitimately cool game that people liked.
Sneak King was fun, man.
That's wild to me.
When's the sequel coming out? That's what I want to know.
Bring it back.
Any day now.
And if you go to the next slide, Bobby, we have a trailer.
You need to ask Subservient Chicken when the Sneak King 2's coming
What
out.
a thing. What an absolute delight.
Yeah,
Right?
and you had the environments in the earlier slide, but like one of them's a fucking sawmill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Construction zone and downtown.
Here he comes, baby. The king gets his.
I mean, you. So do you think when you're making this game, do you think that it's coming from a marketing team who are going, who are our target audiences that we should make sure are environments in the game, or is this just the developer going, fuck it, we can put whatever the hell we want. Let's make it a construction site.
Man, I think they put their whole ass burger into this game, man.
There is a lengthy Wikipedia article about this game.
Okay, cool.
And it began when senior execs from Microsoft and Burger King met at Cannes to accept the awards for I Love Bees and some other marketing campaign.
Oh God, I Love Bees. Jesus Christ.
And they decided to produce Xbox games that would take place in Burger King themed contexts that would not be reduced to blatant advertisements. Just what a weird thing. What a wild thing. Speaking of wild,
I remember this game looking much better.
Yeah.
Yes, this was the Xbox 360 era.
Well, you were viewing it through the eyes of the king, so
yes.
Of course it did.
Yeah. And also, this game costs $4. I think
it did.
You know, I think
you got your money's worth. On the next slide.
Any idea of what it costs today? Like, if you just go to eBay, like what's I mean, I know Jeff Gerstmann has basically every copy of Sneak King in existence.
You can get a copy of Sneak King. Oh, you get a lot of 3 for $10 or best offer.
Oh, the whole pack?
The whole package. Cheaper than what you would have paid for it back in the day.
Well, there you go. That's a deal. That's a whopper of a deal, one might say.
All right.
This one though, Johnny, says collectible rare 2006 Burger King toy Sneak King real Xbox video game. Look! Exclamation point for $81.99.
I think you could do better.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that.
That seems like a bad deal.
Yeah, especially when right under it, it's here's all 3 for $5.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh man.
Good times.
What a time. Our next game is Noid on the NES.
I don't know if this was the first one.
It was not.
Yeah.
So if you read my bullet point here, this is actually the second game that featured the Noid. The first being Avoid the Noid, which was awesome, which was a DOS game.
Yeah.
So it was originally called Kamen no Ninja Hanamaru in Japan. It was localized for the U.S. to promote the Noid mascot. Do you guys know why they stopped using the Noid? Do you know that story?
They got annoyed.
No, there was a guy. There was a guy named Noid
who was a paranoid schizophrenic, and he thought that they were specifically talking to him, and he killed somebody, at least one person, I think.
Oh,
yeah. It's not great. But hey, good news. They brought back the Noid. Like what, in the last few years?
Yeah, in the 2010s. Yeah. So the gameplay is the exact same as Kamen no Ninja Hanamaru.
Who would ever do that? Who would take a video game that's already in Japan and then
change it for the States? Who would do such a thing?
No one would ever do such a thing. That seems silly, especially not on the NES.
Yeah, and they changed most of the assets to make it marketed for the Noid.
Did anybody play Noid?
No,
I did.
It seems like a completely serviceable game.
Yeah, like I know at some point at like an uncle's house or something in the 90s, one of my cousins had this game because I liked
the water effects in the first level. I thought that looked way better than a licensed tie-in game, and I mean obviously it was built as something else and just slapped with that, but I don't know, it looked kind of impressive for an NES game, I thought.
Yeah. I have a trailer or I think it's a commercial for it, or maybe just some gameplay in the next slide. Some of these I couldn't find. This is a playthrough. I just wanted to
I did play this.
Yeah. Look, there's the Noid. He's skateboarding, guys.
Yeah, crazy. He's a real cool guy. Bunny thing.
It's funny that you're playing as a game as the Noid because you usually want to avoid the Noid.
Well, sure. I mean, is the Noid in the game? Is the Noid like going for pizzas or something? Is that the goal?
I assume so. Who knows?
Okay.
Bobby, if you go to our next slide, you will see what inspired this whole topic of tonight's podcast, and that is the Diablo 4 KFC crossover.
God.
Where
God help us.
If you purchase a KFC Double Down or any other qualifying item, you get yourself a beta code to Diablo 4. And
This should really be like a spicy.
What's going to
menu
take you to
item,
hell
right?
faster, the sandwich or the
I-
game?
The double down is not spicy. It's just two
they have.
pieces of chicken.
I think they have a spicy version of it for this promotion.
Okay.
Don't eat the double down. Is my final point here.
I mean, put 2 pieces of bread around it. Then it's just a chicken sandwich. Then it's just 2 chicken sandwiches. Like it's fine. You can eat a double down. Just don't eat it on its own. It's silly.
You shouldn't go to KFC.
Well,
at least one by
also,
my house.
That's also fair.
Uh,
Also, something real weird about Blizzard being anywhere near the phrase "double down." I don't want to see Blizzard double down on anything. They should, in fact, stop most of the things they are doing. So
That's true.
Please don't double down.
That is a fair point, Chase.
You know, you can. Is it worth the demo? Because you're going to pay an iron tax for this thing.
I mean, like Johnny said, you don't have to eat the sandwich. You could just throw it away.
Apparently, if you do a mobile order, you get the code, and you can just not pick up your food. I saw people saying they were doing that.
That'll show them.
I have a commercial here for that. We can skip it. Bobby, let's just move on to the next main slide here for a delicious beverage that I miss on a regular basis.
Fuel, baby.
And that is Halo 3 Game Fuel. Came out August 2007 to promote the release of Halo 3. It was called Game Fuel because it was for gamers to be able to drink and stay up late.
Of course.
Playing.
Yeah, thank you.
Game Fuel's orange, right?
Ish, if I remember right. I do know it had 30% more caffeine than regular Mountain Dew.
Oh, well, of course. That's great. Because
I drank
regular Mountain Dew didn't have enough caffeine, that's for sure.
I drank entirely too much of this stuff in 2007.
So Game Fuel, just for my edification, is Game Fuel different than Mountain Dew Live Wire?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
but they were both orange Mountain Dew drinks.
Yeah, it's like people compared it to Code Red and Live Wire.
Okay.
Is this just G Fuel today?
Sure.
I don't think they're quite the same.
I have a commercial here for this. If you go to the next slide, Bob.
Hell yeah. Here comes an idiot gamer who can't stay awake.
Oh, they're still making Livewire. I didn't know that.
Yep. They still make a bunch of those flavors. Code Red, I believe, is still around.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Baja Blast is.
You can buy Baja Blast at the grocery store now.
Well, I guess it's not so exclusive to.
Man, I had that headset
anymore. Yeah, that's like a darker. That's like halfway between a Livewire and a Code Red. Seeing the color now,
it is a little different.
Any of you guys drink a Pepsi Blue?
Yep.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah,
Bobby, if you go to the next slide, please.
How'd they make Pepsi worse?
There's a lot of KFC. In this episode tonight.
Well, there's also a lot of KFC in Japan.
That's true.
Japan loves the Colonel.
They do.
That's such a crazy story to me. Is that there's just some marketing campaign that they came up with, Kentucky for Christmas, KFC, and people are like, oh well, okay, yeah, I guess this is just our country's tradition now. We'll all get buckets of chicken for Christmas. It's beautiful, honestly.
They love the Colonel. They love him so much that they made a dating sim called "I Love You, Colonel Sanders."
It's true.
And it's a dating sim wherein you
someone still loves you, Colonel Sanders.
You try and romance the Colonel.
I have romanced and been romanced by the Colonel
many
a time.
This is the era. So this is the slide says 2019. This is the era of KFC where they kind of just like went all in on the viral marketing stuff. I mean, they had the different people being the Colonel with the different comedians, but they also were doing like movie posters and like commercials that looked like fake movie trailers, but they
the KFC gaming account on Twitter.
Sure. God, sorry. KFC was going nuts at this point. They kind of stopped, I guess. I mean, the double down.
You can only be. I mean, you can't be horny and doubling down. Like you just can't.
Bobby, I'm afraid that you absolutely can be horny and double down on it.
Well, okay. I stand corrected.
I regret to inform you.
Oh my
I
gosh.
say
Okay.
correct.
That people around the world are both doubling down and being horny.
My
Yes.
my two
No.
favorite facts about this game has a 50% on Metacritic, a
That's
90,
perfect
90
average.
92%
You,
on Steam.
you would have thought it would have been a
with-
69%.
with 12,000 reviews.
That's more reviews than the one that Bobby was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's
So it
free
must
though.
be a better
You can
game.
play it for free.
And it's free? Wow.
Yeah.
Bobby, Johnny just shit all over your what you've been playing segment.
He doubled down on the horniness.
Oh, yeah.
Did somebody just type in Rule 34 Colonel Sanders?
Oh,
Is that
don't
what
do
happened?
that. That's
Don't do
that's
that.
a bad idea. I wouldn't do that.
If you go to the next slide, Bobby, we have an ad for this.
Take that, boyfriend dungeon.
And this is on the official KFC YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
Why wouldn't
gosh,
it be?
he sliced that chicken up.
Yeah, you're going to a cooking school where the Colonel is a student, I think.
Yeah,
He's a master.
And this just looks all kinds of ridiculous. There's a corgi, because of course there is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody at KFC or at least their marketing team had to have played Hatoful Boyfriend before, right? The pigeon dating simulator.
It's made
By-
It's got a very similar look and feel and just like gimmick of dating simulator, but silly.
Yeah. Man, what a weird thing.
Very weird.
Oh man.
Next
there's-
slide, Bobby.
Don't Google too much of that game.
Which game? Hatoful Boyfriend or
There's some very enthusiastic drawers out there.
Bobby, did you stumble upon someone's DeviantArt?
I don't know if that's gravy. What was the next thing I was supposed to do?
you just
Change the slide?
You change the slide. It's like the one thing you can do.
Okay. Done.
Chex Quest. Chase alluded to this earlier. I
There
think.
it is. Yeah.
This is a non-violent reskinning of Doom. This came out for the PC in 1996. The CDs were manufactured by AOL, and they were patented.
They knew how to make CDs.
They did. They were everywhere. Chex actually saw a huge boost in
Wild.
this incremental volume over base increasing by 295%. And this was contributed directly to the release of Chex Quest, which
I'm not a Chex guy. I don't know. Never have been.
I like
me
Puppy
neither.
Chow and I like Chex Mix, but I don't want
Sure.
Chex
Yeah.
Not the
cereal.
cereal.
Like,
Right.
I'll do Life. Life is better.
Yeah. Bobby, if you go to the next slide, we have some gameplay. I think maybe even a commercial for this. Yeah.
That's a big check. Wait, is a single piece of Chex called a check?
I've never seen milk go through a check like that.
No. And yeah. Look at this.
Also-
90s gaming.
Also, just the idea that there are rice checks and there are corn checks, and that somebody would have a preference
And
over
there's-
one or the other.
1992's great blank check.
Orange checks.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Oh man.
Is it 92?
There needs to be some balances, right?
And checks.
Yeah, checks and balances. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
need to-
Next slide, please.
Johnny
This
I
is
hate this.
another-
I'm sorry, we're ruining Johnny's deep dive.
McDonald's Treasureland Adventure.
Hell yeah, there we go.
Came out on the Sega Genesis in 1993. You play as Ronald McDonald and Grimace and the Hamburglar. The whole gang's there in various capacities.
Do you
Did any
play
of
as the
you-
other ones? I don't think you play as
I
them.
don't think so.
you can meet them in the game.
They're in the game.
Yeah.
And it's actually considered one of the better licensed games of this time.
It's weird. Everything in it is weird and amazing.
Yeah, I never played it.
I've never
wanna
played it
find-
either. So our good friend of the show, Zach Fleeman, he has a review of this game
What?
on his YouTube channel. I remember watching it 8 years ago. I had to look it up as research for this. I put it in our note if you guys want to see it.
Oh, cool.
It's a 4-minute and 20-second video, which I think is just committing to the bit, which I love. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, like Ronald throws magic sand, whatever,
Pocket
and then
sand.
also has he also has like a bunch of like kerchiefs in his sleeve that he uses like for some clown magic, I guess. But that's how he like bionic commando climbs his way up different places. There actually does seem to be some interesting mechanics in this game where you have these gems at the bottom part of the screen that represent your health, and sometimes you'll have to spend your life to either on hints, like you'll meet the hamburglar and he'll want some of these gems to tell you how to progress through the level, or like you meet Grimace and he's blocking a door and you have to trade him life gems to just get out of the way. You're like, Jesus, I had to hurt myself to do that. There's even a handful of bosses where you have to let yourself get hit to lose a life gem, and then you can damage the boss. So it's got some interesting ideas. But yeah, it's like a fever dream of going into different areas with Ronald McDonald.
I don't think Ronald's a good clown.
No, I mean, what's a good clown? Like, name me a good clown.
Doesn't exist. Krusty.
No, Krusty's a terrible clown. Have you watched Krusty try to be a clown? He is an awful clown.
Hey,
he's a funny character, he's a terrible
when he wants
clown.
to, he can still knock it out of the
He'll
park.
quit when he wants to.
Most of the time, he's too drunk. It was actually developed by a pretty well-respected studio called Treasure.
Well, it's called McDonald's Treasureland. It's in the title right there.
That's right. And yeah, if you go to the next slide, Bobby, we have actually a link to that review.
Yeah, you should check that out. It's a good review. Everybody should watch that. So Zach Fleeman is forced to make more videos. He hasn't made videos for a while, so let's make him do that.
Here's Ronald throwing his magic.
That's how I jump.
What a weird.
Yeah,
exactly. I've seen you jump. That is exactly how you jump.
You're like Michael Jordan, except you're
Gengar?
not getting very
That was
high.
a Furby. That was a Furby. Those are Furbies.
Yeah,
it's gone now.
Man, Ronald gets down with a bidet. He's clean.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's a weird game. It's a very odd thing.
Bobby,
thank you, Zach Fleeman, for documenting that for us.
We have our third and final KFC tie-in here, and that is the Colonel Sanders. Chase made me aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
Colonel Sanders and Phantasy Star Portable.
So yeah, he's in like the Japanese version of Phantasy Star 2, which was on the PSP. And then once they finally localized Phantasy Star 2 over here, which took forever, if you remember, that's gone now. But like he's like a character that not only did you meet in the game and you could talk to and do like a quest with, you could eventually get him to be like a partner with you and like have a companion.
If you play the video in the next slide, Bobby, we can see the Colonel in action. And
that's great. I remember when this first got announced and was being talked about here, we didn't have video for it. The only thing we had was a single image, and all you saw was Colonel Sanders flying through the air like a Superman, but he also had the cane. And I was like, I don't know what's happening here.
Does he Naruto
amazing.
Right? He is fucking people up in this video.
Yeah, God. I could totally believe that the Colonel does the ninja run.
That's so weird. That makes sense. What a weird
video games, right?
Yeah, that's wild. Finally, the piece de resistance for this slideshow. Did you guys know that Viagra made a video game?
What? Is it Leisure Suit Larry?
Viagra was a fast food.
It was a browser game called Viva Cruiser. Players were told, you are about to take your partner on a romantic getaway.
Well, that sounds nice.
Pick up a few things along the way, and you control a man on a motorcycle driving down a desert road, and you pick up various presents, flowers, chocolates, and Viagra. The game was actually shut down by the FDA because it failed to disclose any of the risks associated with
God.
taking.
You mean
Little blue
they
pill.
couldn't keep it up? Is that what
They
you're
couldn't
saying?
keep it up. They had to
no.
take it down.
Oh,
They
no.
did not play that
Too
Colonel
bad.
Sanders
It
game. I'll tell you
was
that
the
much.
the website was up for more than 4 hours, so they had to take it down.
Fair enough. Well,
sadly,
now I just feel impotent, not knowing that I'll never be able to play that.
I could not find any images or
Oh,
footage.
really?
Of this
Thank
game.
you.
That's shocking.
I'm grateful. You want to see an image? Go back and search Rule 34. I love you, Colonel Sanders.
No,
That'll
would you
take
do
care
that?
of it.
Man.
Johnny,
yeah, that was
I'm surprised that we did not get to see our beefy burger boys from Call of Duty.
the Burger Town. Well, technically, that is in universe because Burger Town is the name of the.
But didn't you have to get that code from Burger King?
You did,
Yeah,
but only in Ireland and parts of Europe. So
Fair.
I
that was fun, man.
yeah, that was a
cool.
good.
Thanks for
good
putting
time.
it together.
Yeah,
Well, let's.
video games are weird.
Did anybody here play Chase the Chuck Wagon on the Atari 2600?
No.
I mean,
no, I don't
that's
think so.
that's for that was a promotional video game distributed by Purina, so it's not really fast food exactly, but it was a promotional. I feel like that was one of the very first tie-ins, if I remember right. Like it's just a maze. It's another maze game on the 2600, but it's one I remember. There's one I played. It was the I think it was 360 era. It was the Doritos one, like the Doritos 3D Blast or whatever it was.
There was the Spot games. There's a lot that I
Cool Spot. There was the Chester Cheetah game that's out there. Yeah, there are a lot of. I mean, tie-ins these days. I don't feel are. I mean, the Diablo one. It's just them doing a deal with Diablo. It's not like.
Yeah.
It's not like you're putting Colonel Sanders in there with.
But what if you did?
I know. What if you did? What if you did?
What if that was the
What
secret
class would he
class
be?
for Diablo 4? No,
he's a necromancer, obviously.
Yes. Oh my god.
What I don't know any names from Diablo, but like what if help me, who's the big angel guy?
Satan.
No. Okay. Never mind. I don't care. End this podcast.
All right, Johnny, thank you so much for that. If
like
you want
Real or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
if you want to follow along with what we've got going on, the easiest way to do so is to go to our link tree, which is the Linktree / the Casual Hour is how you'll find us.
iRail, I think is who I'm thinking of.
But if you want to tune in this week,
there you go. Deckard Cain gets a chicken sandwich. That's what I want. Deckard Cain and the Colonel hanging out together. Now that's fun. He's like, I can't do a Colonel Sanders accent, but he'd be like, Deckard, I feel something summoning up right now, and it's a chicken sandwich.
It's bad. Our link tree is not bad though. Go check that out. This week, Chase and I did a playthrough on Risk of Rain 2 for Casual Mondays. It was a lot of fun. We talked about Finger looking good. We talked about Rhythm Storm earlier. You can check out the quick look right now on youtube.com/casual hour. Tonight was our deep dive. We've got a quick look of what's this game? I'm not familiar with it. Destiny 2 Lightfall that will be going up tomorrow. It's not quite a quick look. It's not a let's play. It's just a look.
I told you it would be under an hour, and it was.
What was the time?
That's quick enough. I mean, it was like 59 minutes, but it was under an hour. That's quick, baby.
And then we all have paid the price with double downs. Johnny, myself, and friend of the show, Jason, we're going to be getting together on Friday night to check out the beta, fingers crossed, of Diablo 4. Chase,
fingers licking crossed, please.
We got room for a fourth if you want to join.
No, I'm out of town.
Okay.
Can't be there for your shenanigans.
Chase,
I mean,
what
it's
are
not
you
matter.
doing?
Johnny's computer is gonna play it anyway,
Wow.
so you guys are just gonna end up playing more Sons of the Forest.
Chase, what do you got going
on? One thing, there's a new episode of pilot program out there. It is on the TV show Archer, the animated comedy Archer from 2009. Pierce and I had both seen it before, and it was kind of tough going back to But we had a really interesting discussion, I thought, about the way tastes change over the years, and how also that Archer is still fucking going on. It's been 13 plus years. They're making a 14th season. How are they doing this? They shouldn't be allowed to do this. They can't keep getting away with it. But yes, there's still more Archer happening. But if you want to hear our takes on the very first episode of Archer, that is out there at Pilot Program. So check that out.
Nice. Johnny, thanks again for putting together. Oh,
sorry, there's also one more thing. There is an upcoming Gamers on the Go episode. It is loosely planned. It is not strictly scheduled, but Jiggy-san and I will be doing another top 25 list, this time for the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color. And so that'll be really fun, but we're going to try to do that maybe by the end of the month. I don't know. It's PAX East time. You know, he lives in the Boston area, so he usually tries to go to that stuff. So we'll see what happens. But there will be a new episode of Gamers on the Go in the near-ish future, and I'm looking forward to that because I haven't gotten to make one of those for a while.
Yeah, man, sounds awesome. Johnny, thanks for the deep dive. This was a ton of fun. We've got a lot of great things you can check out, both on our show and on some of Chase's stuff. We'll be live again Friday night with Diablo 4. Take care, and we'll chat with you soon.